One team goes to the national semifinal. Let's decide who that team will be. They'll go outside to ID Miyabe. Jenna Winnes out of the back row. Sydney Hilly calling on Anna Smrek first. Grace Loberg on the left side. Here's Samity. What an up by Lauren Barnes, the libero for Wisconsin, but an attacking error for Devin Robinson gives the first point to Minnesota. This Minnesota team, they took Baylor, who was the 5 seed in this tournament. They took them to 5 sets in the regional semifinal.
And it's interesting because you can set up your lineup to have any one of the 6 people on the floor be your first server. Minnesota chose to have Miyabe at front left so that she would get that first turn on offense. They think that she has a nice matchup.
Miyabe with the hand set, but it was really tight to the net. And Dana Retke, who is now in the game, the 4-time first-team All-American, is going to win that battle at the net.
The other thing that changes or helps Minnesota is that now that Winnes is up to the net, or will be shortly, she'll face a smaller blocker in Sydney Hilly rather than Smrek at 6'9".
Jade Demps tried to dive in, but Stephanie Samity is able to go over that block as Sydney Hilly was up there with Dana Retke.
Yeah, if I were Wisconsin, I'd be looking for this kind of shot. That happened a lot 2 nights ago, which is a great shot. Samity really well executed, but she did more of that than we're accustomed to seeing from her.
Grace Loberg, second kill for Loberg. This is the first time that these 2 programs have met in the NCAA tournament.
And that last one just a few weeks ago was a doozy. Wisconsin with a huge lead in the first set, gave it away, and then in the 3rd set, and they were down in the 4th, and then Minnesota gave up the lead. Wisconsin ends up winning in 5. Great serve against a 2-passer formation. Minnesota trying to cover a lot of the court with 2, and they've had trouble with the ace, and now that pass.
Hey, Kelly Sheffield told us he loved the service pressure his team put on UCLA in the regional semifinal. Chivita with the save. Yulia Orjol, she was their leading kill getter in the semifinals. Nice. They stopped Retke's slide. What a dive by Kilkelly. The hustle from Minnesota.
Wow, what an up, as you pointed out, by Kilkelly, but then to get the great set and the swing. Part of the trick is, okay, you get the ball up on the first contact, but can you get it close to the net where Winnes can take a swing like that and turn a kill in transition? Well done by the Gophers. CeCe
McGraw serving. She is back for the 2nd match in a row, playing at that libero spot. Did not see her in the 1st and 2nd rounds, and that connection can be dangerous.
Here is a look of Dana Retke coming at the defense, and that time 2 blockers against her. Sometimes teams will just stand 2 people over there in an effort to slow her down. She has such a great connection, been playing 5 years now with her setter, Sydney Hilly. That trust factor shows up time and time again between Hilly and Retke in a match. Jade Demps out of the back row. There's going to be a few times tonight it gets loud in here. More than a few. I love what Wisconsin has figured out. They actually use 2 people for the opposite position. In the backcourt, it's Jade Demps, and she plays in middle back, so she can take swings like that in transition. In the front court, it's 6'9" Smrek. Orjol just crushed that volleyball, and it started with the pass from Demps. It sure did. This is transition volleyball. Come up with the defensive play. Hilly with the perfect location, and then Orsol just unloading on that go set, that fast set to the left side.
Julia Orzol, just a freshman out of Poland. Samity tooling the block.
Bringing the heat. That's what earned her a second Big Ten Player of the Year award, was just how many huge swings she took for her team over the course of this season.
Yeah, she is a 4-time All-American, 10th in the nation in kills per set, first in the Big Ten. Hilly on the move to Orzol. Looking for line, didn't get a touch on that block, and it'll be Minnesota ball. There's Danielle Hart. You were talking about how Wisconsin has changed its lineup. A lot of that had to do with Danielle Hart going down with that ACL injury.
Yeah, she was projected to be the other middle along with Dana Retke, and then that early injury forced them to adapt and adjust, and we've seen that with a number of teams, either with COVID or other injuries, and I've really been impressed with the way across the college landscape coaching staffs have adjusted to get the best out of their talent.
Samity just had an ace. Minnesota up by 1. We played at 25. Devin Robinson, she will get a piece of the block.
Yeah, Wisconsin has more than one slide threat. Robinson, a really strong threat out there in her own right, even though for their 5 seasons in a row now, Retke's been the primary target on that route.
Schaffmaster goes with the bump set because she has to win us. Hilly sets it up for the freshman, who is blocked. It's Katie Myers and Melanie Schaffmaster.
Wow, was Myers big the other day? Not only offense and at the net blocking, but she came up with some huge serves. She's probably their most efficient server. Watch her get her hands across here. Came up with a big ace late in the 4th and then one to start the 5th to help Minnesota upset Baylor.
They go back to Robinson on the slide.
And Myers was in on that block too.
Changed up the speed a little bit.
Smart adjustment. When you hang a little and hit a softer shot, the block actually is then coming down and it can hit the hands and go out of bounds or fall between the hands of the blocker and the net.
Julia Orzol, corner pocket.
Some very tough serving by both these teams so far.
This one a little bit too long, and Minnesota will take that point.
And here comes Myers to the line. Probably their most efficient server in the sense of giving passers trouble, getting the other setter on the run. She does it about 60% of the time.
Spent 4 seasons at Maryland in her 2nd season with Minnesota. Loberg, tip. Wisconsin worked a lot on that in practice yesterday.
Yeah, and they're smart too. Even if Samity gets this ball up, which she does not, now she's out of the transition offense. So that's a really smart play in 2 ways. Even if it stays alive, you can set your block up much more easily.
Here comes Samity. Ellie Huseman in the middle. Melanie Schaffmaster. Okay, setter. Show me that hammer.
Setters love those rare opportunities with nobody at the net. She just showed off a cannon. Boom. Watch out, setter at setter.
Well, we talked about other players stepping up. She got more aggressive offensively in their match against Baylor as it went on to help Minnesota eventually pull out that 5-set win.
Yeah, Coach McCutcheon gave her real props. He said, you know, not every part of her game was clicking, Schaffmaster the other day, 2 days ago, but she figured out a way and eventually got that connection going with Samity in the 5th, and that's what put them across to the win.
Just out by Jade Demps. it's got to be interesting going up against an opponent. These two programs know each other well. I mean, they play in the same conference. They've played twice this year. And now you play when the stakes are even higher with a spot in the national semifinals on the line. Redke, slide, kill.
She is so tough because she hits what we would call range. She can hit anywhere from line. She's so good at finding that high seam. And she can even hit inside sharp cross court against a two-person block. But that time, the high seam, there was just no answer from the Minnesota block.
Jenna Winnes busting up the Wisconsin block. She's just a sophomore.
Just a sophomore, and Coach McCutcheon gives her so much credit for her development. Knew she would be good in the backcourt. Lots of good first touches on defense and serve receive, but her offense and her block has really come along this season.
Debs leaping out of the back row. What a nice option for Sydney Hilly to have.
Yeah, they love having her in that back row play. And one of the things that's good about it is if you have Dana Redke running just like she was at the foreground, it means blockers are pulling her way, and there's like the parting of the Red Sea down the middle. So Demps has a lot of court to swing at.
Izzy Ashburn serving. They push it out to Winnes with the tip. Ashburn covers it. Orjol. Wisconsin is the first to 15 off of the tip from Yulia Orjol. Opening set here in the round of 8. As you see their numbers, they're both well over 4 kills per set. They're both multi-All-Americans. They've gotten Conference Player of the Year awards. Stephanie Samity right now with 2 kills, Redke with 4. Only 2 players to be 5-time All-Big Ten. The record book is going to look totally different after all these super seniors come through.
You get that extra season and it messes up all the cumulative totals. So I don't know if they're going to have to do the double asterisk on there, but it's certainly leading to huge kill numbers, assist numbers.
Izzy Ashburn with the ace. She had 3 aces in their win over UCLA on Thursday.
Yeah, but she's one of the Badgers' most efficient servers. Causes lots of trouble. There's a soft one from Samity.
Good cover by Winnes. And a double contact called on Stephanie Samity.
Just like Katie Myers does for Minnesota, Ashburn gives the opponents trouble about 6 out of every 10, 3 out of every 5. With the flat serve, no spin. That was pretty well handled by the Gophers. Oh, nice.
Oh, Ashburn!
Another tip. Something Wisconsin sees in the scouting report.
Chavita. Orjol. Blocked! Katie Myers.
Well done. We've seen 4 or 5 tips now from left side hitters on Wisconsin to try to drop it right down the back of that right side blocker. Minnesota's going to need to adjust.
There's an ace for Samity. She's got a couple already tonight.
Yeah, usually you have more service errors than aces, but we're at 5 aces and only 2 service errors. Very tough serving game by both teams so far.
Coaches always tell you got to win the serve pass game. Oh, Devin Robinson, pretty shot down the line.
Yeah, she's got nice vision. Winnes stops short, playing more for the cross court. Robinson reacts just the way she should, lets the ball cross it past her more, hits it down the line.
Shot master to Winnes. Schmrack. Wisconsin's flowing more as this set goes on. And Minnesota wants to take a timeout. Wisconsin up 19-15 here in the opening set. Their service pressure has really ramped up from Wisconsin.
It sure has, and I'm so impressed with Anna Schmreck. 6'9", and she made a beeline off the net. She was blocking and had to transition get off the net beyond the 3-meter line and then just crush that ball in transition.
We welcome you to Madison, Wisconsin, where fans were lined up around lunchtime to get the best seat in the house for this one. Courtney Lyle alongside the head coach of the gold medal winning U.S. women's national team, Karch Kirai. Wisconsin and Minnesota, two Big Ten opponents playing in a big matchup in the biggest tournament in college volleyball. And Wisconsin is the host. They are the 4 seed. And so far, we've seen their service pressure really turn up here in this opening set.
It sure has, and that breaks down the offense of the other team. When you see a setter on the run needing to put her track shoes on, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, so Kelly Sheffield told us that was a big reason, or one of the biggest things he liked in their win over UCLA on Thursday was their service pressure, and it's been Izzy Ashford who really got them on that roll.
Yeah, and UCLA no slouch. For much of the season, they had 4 solid passers. They could put out any 3 in the formation, but UCLA did not have an answer for the tough serving of the Badgers.
The key for Minnesota, or one of them, is going to be Stephanie Samity, a multi-time All-American, the 2-time Big Ten Player of the Year. Her efficiency was not great in their semifinal win over Baylor, hit .098. She's got to be much more efficient. She looks more like herself so far.
So far she does. She came out hot against Baylor, but then really backed off in sets 2, 3, and 4. And another misconnect.
Yeah, the tip out of the back row, and Devin Robinson in the middle gets the kill for Wisconsin.
I've been so impressed with Wisconsin's transition offense. That is, they're blocking and defending, and then when the ball comes up, those blockers are sprinting off the net and getting available for this setter that you see here, Sydney Hilly. That time it was Robinson.
3 straight points for Wisconsin, outside to Jenna Winnes.
More transition opportunity.
Julia Orjol. Wisconsin has been tipping a lot on that left side over the Minnesota block. Robinson crushed it.
Wow, first it was the slide and then a second transition kill. She is so tough. And it's overloading Winnes. She's trying to help as a left side blocker, but she also has to be worried about Smrek.
Minnesota takes its second timeout. Wisconsin 4 straight points in the opening frame. Look, if you're coming to a Wisconsin volleyball match, you have to line up outside. Oh, careful, Karch, and you have to run to your seat as soon as the doors open. An hour before, fans run to get the best seats because they know exactly where they're going to sit. Look, we tried to stay down there. We ended up having to come up here, but it was so fun, and these fans love volleyball so much.
It was awesome. They were out there for hours. We visited with them shortly, but it's not the running of the bulls. We survived. Yeah. We had Dana Retke over in the corner giving us crap as we were trying to run, distracting us, almost fell over, but we made it.
And there's a block from Wisconsin. Well, you met some really big Badger fans, too.
I did. Mary and Terry, they were awesome. They picked a certain location, and I was saying, okay, why do you pick these seats? And they said, well, we got popcorn right down the way. The women's bathroom's right there. We get to see the team coming out of the hallway. We can put our coat right behind our seat. And we're away from the band, so it doesn't hurt our ears too much. And then finally, if the governor ever visits, he goes right over there. There's a lot of security. They feel very safe. So
well,
it's a
Mary
perfect
and Terry
spot.
have got it figured out.
They were really sweet.
It's a fantastic environment. They are sitting all the way to the very last row at the top of UW Fieldhouse for this one, and there's a service error for Minnesota. Wisconsin 2 points away from taking the opening set. A spot in the national semifinal on the line. Wisconsin took down UCLA in the round of 16. They swept the Bruins. Meanwhile, Minnesota had to battle with the 5 seed Baylor. Went to 5 sets. Ivy Miyabe, she was really big. Had a team-high 18 kills in the win over Baylor Thursday.
Exactly. This team has depended so much on Samity. That's why it was really impressive. They figured out a way to win with Samity struggling on offense. She contributed in other ways, but the offensive slack was really picked up by Miyabe and Winnes.
Katie Myers serving. Grace Loberg. Melanie Schaffmaster out to Miyabe.
Boy, Hilly picks all those up. That's a tough place to put the cut.
Nice angle from Loberg.
Sorry to put the tip, but what a great cut shot by Loberg. Haven't seen that much from her.
Set point, Wisconsin. Libero to Libero. Outside to Miyabe. Grace Loberg off the block. Oh, Sydney Hilly covered it. Winnes out of the back row. Just enough. Still set point, Wisconsin.
But we saw some great volleyball IQ from Ordsall on that play. She got it to the setter, Schaffmaster, and lured her into giving the ball right back over the net to the Badgers. What a serve. And what a set.
Lauren Barnes on the bump set to Loberg. Samity. Barnes another save. She'll bump set Anna Smrek. Samity backside. The dump by Schaffmaster is covered by Hilly. Wow. This is the best rally we have seen all night.
It's
still
good.
Going. That was a kick save. They got it up.
Wow.
Wow. What a way to end set one. The best rally of the night, and Wisconsin comes out on top. Dana Redke with the throwdown. Wisconsin takes it 25-18. What a scrappy rally we had inside UW Fieldhouse here in Madison, Wisconsin. The Badgers taking the opening set 25-18. It was every player on the floor getting involved.
It sure was, and near the end, you saw the great Gopher hustle. The ball looks like it's going to be down and then a kick, because you can use any part of your body. Touch, touch, kick, love it. Keep it alive. But Wisconsin wins the rally and clearly at 25-18 outclassed the Gophers. 4 players hitting 364 or better for Wisconsin. Their offense is humming. We saw good examples of transition offense where they serve, block, and defend, get the ball up, and take great swings.
Wisconsin hit 304 in that set. The Badgers have hit 300 or better in 6 of the 9 sets they have played against Minnesota this season. Dana Redke already with 5 kills, hitting over 600. Stephanie Samity, 2 kills, hitting 182.
Yeah, they're going to need to get her going a little more. It looks like they're changing. No, it doesn't look like they're changing their lineup much. They now have their setter, Melanie Schaffmaster, in right front. She'll be the second server. And Wisconsin not changing too much either, with Hilly in middle back.
Now you can pick which rotation, which alignment you want to start in for every set. It does not have to be the same for the entire match. That's how you play matchups. Anna Smrek in the middle.
And remember, that wasn't even in the plan to start the season. That was going to be Danielle Hart, but she tore her ACL, and next thing you know, they have Smrek playing front row opposite, Jay Demps playing back row opposite, and fit the pieces together really well.
Samity is blocked by Redke. It's nice when you have 6'8" and 6'9" in the net.
Oh man, that is tough. That set was too close to the net. When you have to jump from behind that 3-meter line, it just put the ball right into the hands of the block.
Heidi Miyabe. Grace Loberg, CC McGraw laying out for it, but it drops, and that's a kill for Loberg.
Was hoping for another kick save on that one. We were set up for another.
Lauren Barnes, the libero for Wisconsin, serving. Ellie Huseman out of the middle. Smrek. And it's long.
That was a good side view of how Barnes would actually want to put that ball closer than it was. It was 9 or 10 feet off. It actually makes the hitter's job a lot easier if you can put it 2 or 3 feet off, especially somebody like Smrek in that case, who was blocking and had to run off the net to hit.
Tight pass, Hilly with the one-handed set. Oh, Sydney Hilly dug it out of the net with one hand.
She is really good at that. 5 years now she's been doing that for Wisconsin. So impressive. She, as a setter in general, and the connection that she has with Dana Rettke in particular.
Sydney Hilly graduated early. She remembers watching Lauren Carlini, who was a fantastic All-American setter for Wisconsin. She wanted to be like her. Actually got the chance to learn from her as Carlini was still on campus rehabbing when Hilly arrived.
Exactly. Hilly came early for that spring season, graduated from high school early so she could get going with Dana Rettke. And Lauren Carlini, the great setter for Wisconsin, still here. And Hilly studied her, tried to learn all the great leadership qualities that she had. And still has.
Sydney Hilly, a 2-time first-team All-American, 3-time Big Ten Setter of the Year. There goes Hilly to Rettke. That's one of their favorite connections on the slide. Samity, roll shot.
Nice up.
We could have a highlight reel of Sydney Hilly's digs. Schaffmaster going back to Samity. Demps dug it. Demps again. Oh, but Wisconsin in the net. Minnesota has tied it.
Boy, not only was Hilly on the floor, but Demps twice in that rally.
Demps working the off speed. Sydney Hilly has so many weapons. How does that stress a defense and a block?
Well, especially if Wisconsin controls the other team's serve and Hilly doesn't have to move much. They have really 3, sometimes 4 solid options coming, and it just outnumbers the 3 blockers you're allowed to have at the net.
An attacking error from Julia Orjol. She was their kills leader in the win over UCLA, the freshman out of Poland. CC McGraw steps back, did not play in the first and second rounds of the tournament, was out with an injury, but has been back since then. Here comes Demps, another tip. Schaffmaster with the pancake. Orjol, good up from Kilkelly. Pulls out a hammer. They love the slide.
Wow, this is a dangerous spot to be. Watch Rettke work her way off the net, get available. And CC McGraw got stuck with her life flashing before her eyes. Just feet from the net. That's not a spot you want to be with Rettke unleashing on the slide down the line.
5 of Dana Rettke's 6 kills have come off of the slide play tonight.
And that is the connection that's started in that spring semester, even before their freshman year. Those two, Hilly and Retke, working together.
Samity's been really solid behind the service line for Minnesota. Demps. Katie Myers with the stop.
Yeah, one-on-one. It's important when you're a middle left alone. You get your eyes on the hitter a long time, and then you can make a move to your left or right at the last second and have good opportunities for stuffs.
Samity back row. Through the block. Stephanie Samity's got 4 kills.
There's the heat that we've seen all season long from the Big Ten Player of the Year. And there was the connection that Minnesota wants to have between setter, Schaffmaster, and Samity in the backcourt.
They struggled with that connection in their regional semifinal win over Baylor. Devin Robinson off the Minnesota block.
Yeah, Coach McCutcheon gives Winnis high marks for her blocking development, but right now Wisconsin is taking advantage of her. They like that matchup. Slide against her, whether it's from Robinson or from Retke.
Jenna Winnis, she's up to 4 kills too. That's Winnis and Samity, each with 4.
And she's got 6'9" in front of her, so that's a smart swing. Don't hit her in her elbows or her armpits. Hit her fingers and use that block to your advantage. Well done by Winnis.
Anna Schmrack out of the middle. Tallest player in Wisconsin history.
Yeah, and when Sydney Hilly gets to stand right there, close to the net, middle of the court, it is very difficult to slow the offense of Wisconsin down. She can run any route she wants.
Heidi Miyabe. She has been just a great story for Minnesota. Started in junior college at Southern Idaho. Accidentally got into volleyball. She was playing tennis for fun when she was a child, and her friend needed an extra player for their volleyball team to play in a tournament, so she stood in, and here she is in the round of 8 of the NCAA tournament.
And it didn't really seem to be in the cards early in this season either, because Taylor Landfair was going to play and then had an injury, and Miyabe has gotten a ton of playing time. Schaffmaster netted on that one. You have to hold back your swing when the ball is that close to the net. But big credit to Miyabe for her development over the course of this season.
It was a JUCO Player of the Year, and Hugh McCutcheon said she is low ego, high output. Miyabe down the line, gets the touch call.
We've seen 3 straight times, first from Winnis, then from Miyabe, getting very smart swings and chipping it off that tall block, that big blocking target of Schmrack.
Is there any adjustment the block can make?
Well, she could stay out a little farther and take a little more line. Oh, what a set by Hilly on the run. And still finding that the plan is for Retke to stay in front of the setter, but they've played together so well. Watch Hilly, she's going to come running forward to play this ball, but Retke stays with the route, and Hilly finds her. That's what comes from 5 years of working together.
Samity swinging on the left pin in this rotation, finds some open floor.
Yeah, not her favorite place to be. She's much more comfortable hitting on the right side, but in rotation 1 with the setter in the right back, they have her hitting in the left front, and she finds a way. It wasn't a perfect connection, but she threw it into the, what we would call the donut, the middle of the court between defenders.
Cece McGraw, love her play. Oh, Lauren Barnes can do it too. Samity from McGraw.
Minnesota showing just what they did the other day against Baylor. This is grit. touching the ball, staying with it, and just extending the rally until they can find a way to get it to the floor.
Minnesota, if they win this match, they'll move on to their 7th national semifinal, the first since 2019. They want it bad, especially for veteran players like Stephanie Samity.
Great move by Samity here. Do you see how she shot her hands across as soon as she got them high enough?
Jade Demps, she has just owned this attacking roll out of the back row.
She is such a nice option to have. I think that was her 5th kill on 9 swings. And what a combination to have Demps in the backcourt, hitting, defending and hitting, and then Schreck in the front court, and all she brings to them.
Wisconsin won the first set 25-18. Minnesota up here by 3. Samity. Orjol. Through the block. Kelly Sheffield loves this freshman.
He does. He said she is just a joy to coach. A great personality. The one thing she did have to work on a little was some of her body language. That's a very common thing in Europe, is to kind of flop around and display frustration. So she's been working hard on that. He gives her big credit for improving on that over the course of this season.
And Minnesota this time is the first to 15. The Gophers looking to even up this match here in Madison. Volleyball championship starting at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. The finals will be Saturday at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2. For more information, go to NCAA.com, your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. We already know 2 teams that are making their way to Columbus. Pitt and Louisville, 2 teams out of the ACC. Jade Demps, back row for Wisconsin.
So impressed with the ACC, because Georgia Tech was legit. They pushed Louisville today also, but to have those teams, number 1 and 2 from the conference, also be high seeds 1 and 3 in the tournament and work their way to the semifinals.
No one has beaten Louisville this season. They're just the 2nd and 3rd teams from the ACC all time to make their way to the national semifinals. Devin Robinson cuts the Minnesota lead to 1.
Man, she's tough on that slide. It doesn't matter whether they got Retke back there or Robinson. But you've got a late arriving middle because of the speed of that slide, and without 4 strong hands, 2 pairs, it's going to be tough to slow her down.
Jenna Winnes tips down the line. Oh, Izzy Ashburn, yes. Allows Jade Demps to send it to the back row.
There's that transition offense for Wisconsin again. Dig, get a good set. It all starts with that up by Ashburn. And she's serving tough to create herself and her teammates more defensive chances.
Tie game here in the 2nd set. Again, Izzy Ashburn is everywhere. Yes! Yulia Ursul! That was great placement.
Ashburn coming up with another dig on the misconnect from Minnesota. Wisconsin's transition offense is just dominating right now. Twice, Ashburn laying it out. And then, of course, give Chavita credit for putting that set where it needs to be, within 3 or 4 feet of the net, so there is a threat on offense.
So Minnesota calls timeout. Karch, we've talked a lot about Dana Redke and Sydney Hilly working the slide. Can you explain a little bit more? Take us through this play and why it's tough and why it's so effective with these 2.
Absolutely. This is a really a bread and butter play between middles and setters. And so you'll see them run across. You've got Sydney Hilly setting up in her spot in the middle of the court, close to the net. Dana Redke's going to run that slide toward the referee. This is an easy connection because of a great pass and because they've been doing it for 5 years. But now watch when Hilly gets knocked off her spot. She has to come way forward And there's a lot of trust involved in this because she has to fling it back there and trust that Dana Retke will be ready. They didn't get the kill on that. They do win the point, but this is what they've been doing forever now. It's seemingly their 5th season, and that trust and that unseen factor, that blind set they run better than anybody, pretty much anybody else in college volleyball.
Well, Dana Retke has 7 kills tonight. 5 of those have come off of that slide play tonight. And you've seen her run it with Devin Robinson, too. They're not just limited to Retke.
Absolutely. And when Retke gets back to the front row, she's due to get up there soon. We'll take a look at it live, probably from the end zone camera view, and we'll watch Retke across, or running across for that slide pattern, and then see what the Minnesota middle blocker does and how she responds.
4 straight points for Wisconsin. Samity finds the floor. Great connection.
That's the kind of connection that Minnesota wants and needs in system. You see that ball barely got over the height of the antenna, but it also was close to the net and out to the sideline, just keeping Samity in rhythm.
And there's the slide play we just talked about, but with Devin Robinson.
Yeah, and she's been running it so well. She now has 8 kills in 11 attempts, hitting a cool 545. 2 very difficult. You see that middle blocker for Minnesota, Katie Myers, struggling to get out there. It's very hard to be great on the slide and then against other hitters along the net.
Service error from Hilly will tie it up at 17. We're still going to 25, and you have to win by 2. Chivita handles it. Robinson with a tip. She's got 9 kills to lead the Badgers.
Well, I like how she mixed that in there. I thought she could take a swing on that, but she's been drilling the ball. And so when you get defenders back on their heels, then that's the perfect shot. Next time, they don't know what to think. Is it going to be coming a cannon shot or a soft one? Oh, what a pass.
Cece McGraw. And then ID Miyabe able to terminate.
But all the credit goes to McGraw. That ball was dropping almost to the 3-meter line, and McGraw gets a platform on it. What a save on that serve.
Hugh McCutcheon says there's just these little things that she does, the little extra that makes such a difference when Cece McGraw is in at libero.
And Minnesota loves having Myers at the line, but that's an easy pass for Wisconsin.
The tip from Anna Schmreck.
Another middle coming up with the off-speed play. Schmreck's been taking big swings too, so good choice by her.
Miyabe. Miyabe tips this time. It was in. Point Minnesota.
And this is exactly what Minnesota was hoping to do against Baylor. Ooh, just on the line. Good shot by Miyabe. Is just hang in there, keep it close, and then hope you can get a good serve off and get a chance. But Loberg with the perfect pass. Another tip. They've been doing that a lot, right over the end blocker's shoulder.
Roofed, just roofed. Dana Retke.
Well, it's pretty tough when Dana Retke is not the tallest blocker at the net.
Retke at 6'8", Anna Schmreck next to her at 6'9". Miyabe, right pin. Long on the cross-court shot. This has been a well-played second set, though. Both teams hitting 300 or better. Samity. Off of the scoreboard, stays on Wisconsin's side, still playable. Miyabe off the block. Heidi Miyabe having a big impact again. She led them with a career-high 18 kills in their win over Baylor.
Okay, we're going to look at this now. Dana Retke coming across, and let's watch. It's really good in volleyball to try to watch the middle, number 16 for Minnesota, to see what she's going to do and how she reacts. That time, we got bad luck and Wisconsin didn't get the pass. Let's see if we can watch it again from that end zone view and watch number 16. Sometimes it's, whoop, but there's a timeout. Great to watch sometimes, not the ball, but key players, watching the setter, watching the libero, or the middle blocker.
Yeah, and that middle blocker, it's Ellie Huseman right now for Minnesota. She's going to give Dana Retke a lot of respect for the dominant type of player that Retke is.
Exactly. So we would expect her to leave and move to her left early if Wisconsin has a good pass, because they've been setting Retke and having a lot of success.
Well, coming up tomorrow, this is the 20th annual Women's Jimmy V Classic, and Sunday, rivals will square off. Number 14 Kentucky, Ryan Howard taking on number 7 Louisville. That's at 1 Eastern. Then number 1 South Carolina and Aaliyah Boston, the preseason All-American, facing Maryland, also a top 10 team. Both games on ESPN and the app, one tap. Dana Retke with 7 kills, no attacking errors. She's hitting .538, one of the super senior stars, if you will, in this match. Retke, a 4-time first-team All-American. Stephanie Samity, also a super senior star. We're all getting the benefit of watching them play an extra season due to COVID, and it hasn't disappointed so far. Look at their numbers for their career. I mean, well-decorated and talented players.
And producing so much offense, as you see, almost 5 kills per set on the season for Samity, almost 4.5 for Retke. Huge weapons. The #1 way by far to score points in this game is when you're on offense and you swing and get the ball to the floor. We come out of this timeout. We have Retke available on the slide again, but if they honor her too much, they could set Demps down the middle. Nope, it's Retke. Kill, even though there were 2 blockers in front of her. And that's still a good choice because she can hit with such range.
Retke gets herself up to 8 kills, no attacking errors. Winner of this match moves on to the national semifinal to face Louisville. Oh, love the angle from Samity.
That's the angle we've been seeing all season long. When that set gets far enough out, within a couple of feet of the sideline, Samity can hit that really sharp cross court, and not just softly, but with great pace.
Slide, Dana Retke.
And of course, she checks out, and who comes in? Devin Robinson. Slide. Actually, yeah, Retke's going to stay and serve. She doesn't often do this, but in the meantime, Robinson comes up, and now they have another slide option to go to.
Oh, and she gets an ace! Set point, Wisconsin. Minnesota calls timeout as UW Fieldhouse erupted. Dana Retke with an ace. Her first of the season.
She has not been in the serving rotation much, but she comes up huge at 23-22.
It's got to be a tough serve to try to pass because it's coming from so high up at 6'8".
Well, and that's exactly right. Middles can be some of your best servers. They're tall, they jump well, they can basically hit the ball down over this 7'4" net. So that's a really important skill for middles to develop, both in the college game and for those who hope to go professional or play national team season beyond. They can contribute massively to their team's ability to score points.
So after the ace, do you like the timeout by Hugh McCutcheon to gather his group here with Wisconsin set point?
Absolutely. I would have called the same thing. I think they want to also make Dana Rettke think a little bit because she hasn't been at the line much. We'll see how she does here. She's been a little inconsistent, and that's why she hasn't earned as many serving opportunities through the course of this season.
Biggest match of the season, because we will send one of these teams to the national semifinals on Thursday in Columbus, Ohio. Winner of our match gets Louisville, the #1 seed, who is undefeated. They took down Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets really pushed them, but Louisville beat them for the 3rd time this season. Pittsburgh also already in the national semifinals. Jade Debs wide on the attack.
That might have been Rettke's only 8th and 9th serve attempts, if I'm reading this right,
yes,
on the whole season. But another set point for Wisconsin.
Samity serving. She's been one of their best servers tonight. Devin Robinson.
Oh, what it up.
Wow, it came back over. Kill Kelly on the save. Here comes Samity. And Stephanie Samity ties it at 24. You have to win by 2.
How about Schaffmaster just flinging her hands up and coming up with that dig off the tough slide from Robinson.
Look at Stephanie Samity's mom, Francine. She is in the stands tonight.
No stress
nervous?
there,
yeah.
Right? Poor thing. All these families, it's one thing when you're on the court, but it's another when you have absolutely zero control over what's going on.
Well, we've got a packed sports schedule tomorrow afternoon, and we're featuring these 2 college basketball matchups. #6 Villanova in Waco to take on undefeated #2 Baylor at 3 Eastern. Then over on ESPN, it's the Pacific Northwest rivalry game between Washington and #5 Gonzaga. You can always watch these games and everything else on the ESPN app. One app, one tap. Francine, we feel you. What a match this has been already. Wisconsin took the opening set 25-18. Minnesota came out and they were pushing Wisconsin. They've pushed Wisconsin this entire second set.
They sure did, and Wisconsin running this great transition offense, scoring points. But Minnesota's thing right now is just stay together, stay poised, and have a huge grind and grit factor, and they are doing exactly that.
So we are knotted at 24. You have to win by 2. Demps back row. Samity back row. Jenna Winnis is stuffed Devin Robinson. Set point again, Wisconsin. No touch. Wisconsin takes set #2. Badgers leading the match 2-0 with a spot in the national semifinal up for grabs. It would be a third straight if Wisconsin can finish it out. Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Badgers up 2 sets. The Wisconsin Badgers have won their last 17 sets, the longest streak of the season. They are hitting 321 in this match, and Minnesota really pushed them in the second set.
They sure did, and Stephanie Samity came alive. She's now up to 308, but Wisconsin is having so much success on that slide. You can see down below, Retke, 9 kills, 0 errors, 600 hitting efficiency, and Devin Robinson right behind at 538. So a devastating combination of slide hitters. They're running it in almost every rotation. And of course, this is what Wisconsin's been doing for 5 years between it's Hilly to Retke, Hilly to Retke. But that's not all they do. They can block. Certainly Retke came up, and that was, we looked it up, that was Retke's 8th serve of the whole season.
Yeah, and it was an ace.
And they said, okay, you know what? We want to save a substitution. Let it fly. And she hits the ace and got them the advantage. They eventually closed out that second set.
You heard Jen Hoffman in the studio talking about what Minnesota can try to do against this potent Wisconsin attack. Anything you want to see an adjustment for the Gophers?
Well, one standard one that you could do if you're Minnesota is what we would call spin the dial, and that is go away from where you were starting. Maybe if the setter were starting in right back, maybe you would want to go 3 places away and put her in left front. So we'll see if Minnesota in fact spins the dial. Why would you do that? You would get different blocking matchups against your hitters. Maybe getting, for example, Winnis going a little. She's hitting 087 right now. So getting her a different matchup could help her unleash. They look like they are not changing their lineup. This is how they receive serve in the first, with Schaffmaster, the setter, in middle front. So it looks like we're going to have the very same matchups. And why would you not change? Good reason why. They were right there, 26-24. If they had lost maybe 25-18, more logic or more rationale for spinning the dial.
A win for Wisconsin in this set, and they are moving on to their 3rd straight national semifinal. Heidi Miyabe is going to get Minnesota on the board first. The Gophers have to win this set. Miyabe hitting 353 in the match. Katie Myers, one of their middles, back to serve. Service error.
And that would be another reason why Minnesota didn't change. Myers hit that serve out, but she's their most effective server, and they want to get her to the line early. If you spin the dial, you lose her. Probably get 3 serving turns out of her if this game is close.
Heidi Miyabe already a couple of kills here in set number 3. She has played all over. Her first season, they converted her to a right side. She played a little bit of middle last year, and now she's on the left. Oh, Retke with the slam in front of Billy.
Yep, middles can run off 2 feet, or as Retke did there, actually stay in front of the setter, but use that layup approach, 1-footed approach, and still find an easy way to put the ball to the floor.
Samity blocked from left side.
Really nice view of the end zone. That time Retke not having much time, but watching the middle, you could see her getting into the action with very fast lateral movement.
Miyabe from the right side.
Smart choice by Minnesota. Miyabe's got a hot hand hitting over 350 on the match.
And Julia Orzel can't handle to make the pass. Rachel Kilkelly's going to get the ace. Minnesota needs to keep on serving tough. Wow, Hilly dropped to her knees setting that.
And you could hear Coach McCutcheon even up here screaming out, back, 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 like they were going to set the slide. Pulling Loberg onto her knees, that took her out of the pattern. So it really, the only strong option left was Retke on the slide, but Minnesota still wasn't able to slow her down.
This is the third meeting between Minnesota and Wisconsin this season. Wisconsin swept them the first time. Then Minnesota pushed the Badgers to 5 sets back on November 21st, but it was Wisconsin getting the victory. Wisconsin has won the last 5 meetings. This is the first time they're meeting in the tournament. And there's a net violation on Minnesota. It happened just before that.
And so Ashburn comes in. She's Wisconsin's top server. And they might have been close to running out of subs that last set. Normally she comes in to serve for Retke. That one off the tape. We saw her make some great defensive plays to help them score and close out set number 1.
Yeah, she was flying all over. And keep in mind, you get 15 substitutions per set.
Yep, and she just checks in only for that serving turn, and then right back out.
Samity with the hustle to get there. Jenna Winnis will take a rip.
Wow, that is not an easy swing, Courtney. She almost had to approach backwards. You could see her go back to the 3-meter line, but finds a way. Really good by Winnis.
Winnis was key in the upset of Baylor. She had double-figure kills along with Miabe and Samity. Okay, Devin Robinson. Look, Devin Robinson, her first 2 swings tonight were errors. Since then, she has had a great match. Just shook it off. No big deal.
And she's got the hang time to swat. You've got to be very careful in how you tip over or around her as a hitter.
Winnis stuffed. Anna Smrek.
If the set is too low, ooh, that is fast. Smrek's just waiting, licking her chops to put those hands across for a stuff. Got to give it a little more arc on that set.
Julia Orzel. She's been kind of quiet. Had some big swings in the first set. Winnis gets another shot. And Jenna Winnis is up to 7 kills.
And credit Kilkelly with the set from deep, putting Winnis in a much better position. That's a very difficult set to hit because it's coming from behind you. You don't have a good view of the block in front of you.
Jenna Winnis has over 370 kills this year. She only had 19 kills last season because there was talent playing in front of her. She's always been talented. Orzel will get the touch call. Point Wisconsin to tie it at 8.
That's volleyball IQ right there. Finding the fingertips of the block. Even if she gets blocked, it's going to, because she hit it so high, it's going to come back softly and give your team another chance. It would recycle off the block, but that time she gets the kill.
Samity rolling. Grace Loberg blocked. It's Katie Myers.
And when you see that setter using her forearms to set the ball, it means a broken play, more time. Katie Myers takes advantage, and now she goes to the line for her second service turn.
Katie Myers spent 4 seasons at Maryland. She tore the same ACL twice. There was a point in time she wanted to quit volleyball, but has fallen back in love with the sport. Devin Robinson connecting on that slide. She's in double figures with 10.
And as good a server as Myers is, Wisconsin was better. Hilly barely had to move to make the set, stayed on her spot. Robinson is just too tough when they're in the system. Ace.
Speaking of tough, that serve was tough from Lauren Barnes. Grazing the tape for the ace. Swing is long. No kill. Look, Lauren Barnes is tough. She started her career actually at Minnesota, but before volleyball, she played hockey for 12 seasons. Look at baby Barnes in her little hockey uniform.
Love that shot, but I love even more that she chose volleyball. You know, after that last point, Courtney, you could see Coach McCutcheon and his staff consulting. All right, should we call a timeout? We don't want them to get too far ahead. But they refrained and they saved that timeout for later in this set.
Just 2 timeouts per set for each team. Ooh, Loberg, spicy.
Loberg also been a fixture with this program, bringing big swings out of the left side as a front court outside hitter.
Miyabe wasn't touched. They say no, and Hugh McCutcheon has pulled up the green challenge card. First time we have had a challenge in this match, and remember, we're not using the experimental challenge rule. So each team gets 3 challenges, and whether they're correct in the challenge or not, they lose that challenge.
So not only do you get the benefit, of course, you get you try to win this with the challenge, but this is the timeout that Coach McCutcheon and his staff were considering using a few plays ago. So they get this 2-for-1 on this. I know we're sitting here far away, but to me it sounded like there was a little touch, and you could see in the Minnesota players they were absolutely convinced there was a touch. I don't know if there'll be visual convincing evidence to overturn it, but I know they were convinced.
And of course there's a flash that happens right in the middle of this review.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it looked like some finger movement.
You can see the finger right there.
Maybe the flash is helping a little.
It's that right hand. That's Dana Redke, I believe. The right hand of the inside blocker.
Oh, yeah. Looked like it got a right ring finger. And I like the sales job that she does, she does there. Not me. Who me? No. Oh my gosh.
Wow. They leave the point with Wisconsin.
You know, we had a really interesting situation the other day where they made a call on the challenge, and then they found there was a different view to look at and reviewed it a second time and ruled the other way.
Wow, that would have been a much different swing, and now it leaves Wisconsin up by 3. Heidi Miyabe still trucking away over there, swinging on the right pin in this rotation. She'll rotate out. She has 11 kills to lead Minnesota. Make it 12.
And probably should have been 13 the play before.
Yes.
Actually, it wouldn't have been 13 because they would have won and rotated. Another successful slide. What a play by Hilly that time to save the tight pass. That ball almost came over, and Minnesota has to honor that with a blocker. That leaves a 1-on-1. Well executed by Hilly.
opposing coaches, anybody playing Wisconsin, you're gonna have nightmares about that Sydney Hilly, Dana Redke slide for the days leading up and maybe after playing Wisconsin.
Yep, and not only are you going to have to contend with that if Wisconsin moves on from this round, is we see how devastating Robinson can be on that slide.
Yeah, Devin Robinson is in double figures tonight. That was a rare misconnect on the slide, but Hilly was having to move a lot.
Ooh, very inside set. That ball barely came out of Schaffmaster's hands.
Samity tipping down the line.
Way to be there. Wennis doing a nice job.
You think Dana Redke wanted that block? Wisconsin the first to 15. Looking to win this set and make their way to Columbus, Ohio. Dana Redke with the stop. We love V Week at ESPN. Our partnership with the V Foundation highlights the urgent need for cancer research and the elimination of racial disparities in cancer outcomes. You can learn more and help support by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research. If you can, even if it's just a little bit, $5 or $10, please make a donation. Izzy Ashburn is going to set up Julia Orjol. Jenna Winnis with the kill for Minnesota. You know, everybody knows somebody who's been affected by cancer, and Sydney Hilly is no different. There's her and her grandmother when she was a child, Sandy Cawley. Unfortunately, Sandy Cawley passed away from breast cancer, and Sydney Hilly is getting her master's in applied biotechnology. Because of her grandmother's battle, she wants to go into cancer research someday using that master's degree. Winnis is blocked off the hands of Devin Robinson.
What a match Robinson is having offensively. Now her 5th block.
And a rare shake by Cece McGraw is going to give an ace to Sydney Hilly. Minnesota has to call timeout. Wisconsin is up by 4. Well, speaking of V Week, the 20th annual Women's Jimmy V Classic. It's coming up tomorrow. Rivals square off. Number 14 Kentucky taking on number 7 Louisville. And then myself, Carolyn Peck, and Andrea Carter will be on the call for number 1 South Carolina hosting number 8 Maryland. Both games on ESPN and the ESPN app. One app, one tap. South Carolina already has 3 top 10 wins this season. This is the first time they're playing a top 10 team at home this season. That'll be tomorrow on ESPN. Wisconsin trying to pull ahead here in this 3rd set. A win for the Badgers sends them to the national semifinals. The 2nd set, it was really close. What's different in this 3rd set?
Wisconsin has turned up their serving pressure a little, and their block seems to be formed and placed in better spots. Got some blocks on Winnis, and they have the other hitters then a little tentative, and so they're just Minnesota is really having trouble putting away what we would call that first ball attack. Receive, serve, set, and then kill the ball. Very often that ball is not finishing the rally unless the Wisconsin block finishes it for them.
Well, it would be a 3rd straight appearance in the national semifinal if Wisconsin wins this set. They made it to the championship in 2019, made it to the national semifinals last year where they lost to Texas We will see Texas and Nebraska battle later on tonight. Approximately 10 Eastern time here on ESPNU. That'll be our final regional final of the day. Pitt and Louisville already into the national semifinals. Too deep on the angle.
That would be another example of Minnesota taking a first ball swing. The serve came to them, but the ball did not terminate. Wisconsin yet again came up with a good block and a good dig. They hit it out, but they had the chance to score in transition.
Oh, the block, I think it was Melody Schackmaster, the setter.
Yeah, and it hasn't been often that Minnesota has forced a poorer pass and gotten Sydney Hilly on the run. Wisconsin really doing a nice job at serve receive.
Devin Robinson, kill number 11, second right now for Wisconsin behind Dana Redke.
And credit Chavita as she checks out of the game with a perfect serve receive. Maybe a little low, but still plenty of time. Hilly getting to stay on her spot and run their favorite and most effective play today, and that is the slide.
Free ball back to Minnesota. Got to terminate. ID Miabe will. Miabe up to 13. She has had a very solid match, hitting 360 as an outside. Loberg too long.
It started with a tough pass from Myers, getting Hilly on the run. One of the things that's been impressive with Wisconsin, though, is if they receive poorly on one play, they correct very quickly on the other. Let's see how they do here. Again, off the tough serve from Myers. A better pass.
Now Minnesota scrambling, free ball back to Wisconsin. Samity. That's a Samity swing. Ties it at 18.
And it's the same thing we saw from Minnesota, that scrap factor. They just won't go away. They had the disadvantage. Wisconsin had a free ball, but Minnesota comes up with the point.
Samity's mom, Francine, watching on, tied up at 18. Minnesota has to win this set in order to keep the match going, as Wisconsin took the first two sets. We will have a packed sports schedule tomorrow afternoon. We're featuring these two college basketball matchups. Number 6 Villanova in Waco to take on undefeated number 2 Baylor. That's at 3 Eastern, 2 Central on ABC. Then over on ESPN, it's the Pacific Northwest rivalry game between Washington and number 5 Gonzaga in Spokane. You can always watch these games and everything else on the ESPN app, one tab. We were using the ESPN app today to keep an eye on the games that had started while one game was still going in our regional final. 2 tickets have been punched. Pitt is going, Louisville is going. Nobody's been able to beat Louisville this year.
Carrying that undefeated record in, that is a huge credit to Louisville, and it's also a little bit of a burden. That's not easy to go clean right on through. Interesting that they'll be in opposite sides of the bracket, and so they could have an all-ACC final.
The winner of our match will get Louisville, so a tough test already awaiting whoever wins this match here in Wisconsin. Again, the national semifinals are Thursday in Columbus on ESPN. This is how the bracket shapes up so far. The 1 and the 3 seeds, they are in. Coming up later tonight, Nebraska and Texas will play 10 Eastern time here on ESPNU for that last spot in the national semifinals. Minnesota has come back to tie this. Katie Myers behind the service line. Joust at the net. Samity, she tips over the block. Hilly and Robinson connect. Lauren Barnes underneath it. Miyabe, no, says Anna Smrek.
What an up by Barnes, taking heat down the line on a on a strong connection on that D set from Samity.
We were tied up at 18-all, just like we were moments ago in the second set. Wisconsin went on to win that one 26-24. In! That's 7 aces for the Badgers.
Again, the Minnesota coaching staff talking about a timeout, and they call one.
So Hugh McCudgeon does use that timeout. They don't have any left in this set. But what are you talking about in a timeout like this? Wisconsin 5 points away from ending the match, but Minnesota only down by 2.
Well, first of all, you want to calm everybody down and make sure that you don't have to dig out of a deeper hole. So this is a big side out here, trying to get a very solid first ball swing, pass, set, and swing. Looking to get your best hitters on your best routes and control the serving. They got ace the last time, so another thing is the passers are going to have to make sure that they're calling first in or out, and then who's going to play it, be really clear.
A win for Wisconsin. They move on to face Louisville. You know, taking a step back from volleyball, we've seen the storms that rip through the Southeast, Kentucky, Tennessee, just to name a couple of the states. Our hearts are with those affected by those devastating storms. And to everyone who was impacted in the communities as they begin their recovery process today, you are definitely in our thoughts. There are much bigger things happening outside of volleyball.
Yeah, sending out massive prayers.
Wisconsin needs 5 points to make their 3rd straight national semifinal appearance. It would be their 5th overall.
So you notice Minnesota has barely set their middles at all. We did see them push that the other day against Baylor, but I would expect it's only going 2 places, Miyabe or Samity, but that was a broken play.
And Smrek gets a great approach. Crushed it.
She did on this broken play. She could get well beyond the 3-meter line. And that leads to her jumping higher, putting it right over the block.
3 straight points for the Badgers. Schaffmaster trying to get aggressive. Good up by Hilly. Beautiful shot from Grace Loberg. 4 straight points for Wisconsin.
She tried this shot earlier, hit it a little long past the sideline. Took something off at this time. She's seeing something in the defense, leaving that spot open for her, and a near ace blocked by Wisconsin.
Minnesota has no timeouts as Wisconsin is rocking and rolling in UW Fieldhouse. 5 straight points. And a service error from Lauren Barnes. But what a run she took Wisconsin on. They need 2 points to advance. Redke, slide, out. Winnis does get a swing off. Bump set to Smrek. It's long, and here comes Minnesota. Kelly Sheffield has the green challenge card in his hand. They are going to look for a touch on this ball.
And this time, Wisconsin seemed very convinced that there was a touch.
Initial call was no touch. First time Wisconsin has used a challenge tonight.
It looks like it got the left index finger
of Huseman.
Of Huseman, exactly. That was a great view, that last one. You could see her left finger clearly moved by the ball. But of course, we saw the last one and it didn't get called.
Right.
So what do I know?
I think you know a lot, Karch. There you can see the finger.
Yeah, there's two clear and convincing views on that touch.
So if they reverse this, which they should from what we've seen, it will be match point Wisconsin. Hugh McCutcheon trying to take advantage of this break to gather his team. Again, the initial call, no touch, but Wisconsin is challenged. Well, Dana Recky's pretty loose. 13 kills, hitting .571 with 4 blocks. It's been impressive to watch this Wisconsin team with the veterans that they have. A handful of them coming back for that 5th year.
And that recent slide hit out down the line, first error for Redke out of 21 swings on the evening.
Here comes the call. Wow,
what?
The call stands?
I don't know what they're looking at, but remember the other day they got an extra view and changed their call.
We had two angles
that
showed
both the calls that we've seen in this set, or both these recent challenges, were pretty clear and convincing evidence.
They may not have the same angles that we do. Match point, Wisconsin. Jade Demps will serve. Miabe. Hilly goes to Loberg. Samity's dug out by Barnes. They go back to Redke. And it's long. Second match point, Wisconsin. Kilkelly checks in. Second match point for the Badgers. Hilly back to Redke, and the Badgers bust into the national semifinals for the 3rd straight year. Wisconsin does it in a sweep of Big Ten rival Minnesota. We will see them in Columbus next week.